When it comes to going fast, we think of pedaling our butts off, sprinting, getting the watts down, power wheeling away, all in the name of speed. But what if there was another way? What if actually pedaling less, or maybe not even at all, could actually make you go faster? It is insanely quiet. So there's long been the debate in downhill and enduro as to what's faster, pedaling or pumping. Obviously, aerodynamics is going to play a huge role on this, as will the type of track. However, when it does come to pumping, you focus more on generating speed, using the trail to your advantage, and really you don't have to worry about rock strikes, pedaling where you maybe can't or pedaling where you maybe should. So I'm going to do a few test runs today to find out which is better once and for all, and throw in a little wild card as well. We're going to do a pedaling run and we're going to do a pumping run, and then maybe that little bonus one to find out. So that then brings me here to Luiseño Bikepark, just on the outskirts of San Diego, where we've shuttled to the top and we're at their infamous Granite Falls Trail. I mean, look at that as a rolling. This track here has everything in it, from big rock rolls, it's got jumps, berms, pumps, manuals, rough sections, smooth sections. It's got everything that should test all aspects of whether pumping or pedaling is going to work. So to begin with, I think a pumping run is required. Cue epic music, and I'll see you in a bit. Alright, so this is a rowdy track, I should say. I'm going to keep the speeds in the turns. Double, double. On camera going. Right, some big rock rolls coming up now. Switch. 1, 2, gap. Nice. Oh, that definitely could have done with a pedal stroke. So rough. You've got to be so conscious of where you can carry speed, insides, outsides. Oh, see, it's a bit flatter through here. Oh, we've really lost some momentum. This is a horrible rock garden, this one. I had a good line through there. Pump, pump. Around the outside, let the brakes off, let the brakes off, come on. Oh, this is painful. Oh, yeah. That is the slowest part of the track. I think that's where it's going to kill our time. Oh, it's going to finish. Okay. Granite Falls, pumping with my chain on still. Done. Now let's get back to the top for the pedaling run. Will being able to get on the power on some of those little uphills and little punchy bits make a difference? Stay tuned to find out. Straight on the pedals, through the nasty rock gun. Now already this feels more aggressive, shall we say. You know what, I came into that section before with so much more speed that I basically missed my line, I blew it out. The heart rate feels higher. It does feel more intense. Before, I was riding, thinking with a lot more flow and pumping and sort of not preserving energy, but certainly using it in the right spots. Oh my God. Whereas now, I feel way more sort of balls to the wall basically. Full on flared out. Oh. I like that round the outside of the rock. And again on the pedals. Oh my God, okay. That's the pedaling run done. And I get my breath back and we'll go check out the times, but not yet. Curveball run. I'm gonna take the chain off completely. See what effect that has on the suspension and see what effect it has on the times. Then we'll catch up after that and go through all of the times. Back to the top. So before I drop in on my chainless run, you'd never in a million years think riding a bicycle without a chain is actually going to be faster, especially off-road. However, Aaron Gwynn did the almost unthinkable and won Leogang World Cup Downhill in 2015 after snapping his chain straight out of the gate, no chain whatsoever. Well, surely that's just not possible. So how was it that he was so quick? After crossing the finish line, Aaron Gwynn basically put it down to what he said was his suspension working better. And that's because there was no pedal kickback. What happens is as your suspension moves through its travel, the distance between your bottom bracket and your rear axle will grow and you get what's called chain growth. This change puts more tension through your chain. At higher speeds, when your wheel is spinning freely, your drivetrain will naturally be able to feed more chain into your upper chain line and you won't notice it happening. However, at lower speeds, or if your wheel happens to be locked up due to braking, your drivetrain can't feed chain into the upper chain line fast enough. To compensate for that sudden increase in tension on your chain, your cranks will get yanked backwards. This feels like you're getting a kick backwards through the pedals, hence the name pedal kickback. Not only does this kickback give you a rougher ride, but you lose sensitivity in the suspension, giving you an all-round harsher feeling ride. So all that in theory sounds really good. I haven't noticed it too much so far on this bike, but I think it's now time I took the chain off and headed back to the top to really see if it's gonna make a difference on this rough and rowdy track. So with that, to the top. This then is not gonna be needed for the next lot of runs. Now, the previous runs I've done have all felt pretty bloomin' good. I've ridden the track quite a lot, I'm pretty used to it, I know where to go, I know I can hit sort of the lines every time. There ain't a lot of pedaling, but there is, and I do think that will make a difference. But it is rough, it is fast, it's rocky, it's choppy. So is this gonna make a notable difference on the suspension working? Is that gonna allow me to carry more speed? Or is it gonna throw me off completely? Drop a comment below right now which you think is gonna be fastest, because I'm about to drop in. It feels weird. It's not obviously something I do particularly often, is ride my bike without a chain. It's happened a few times in races. But, you know, we're doing it willingly off our own back this time. The hardest bit's gonna be getting going, I think. I mean, whoa, that's gonna be odd. All right, 3, 2, 1. Oh, Lord. And we're off. Okay, I'm gonna hold judgment for a little bit, just to get used to it. But, I mean, first impressions are, it is insanely quiet. It's like proper quiet. Kinda like it though, it's pretty cool. I think it is working better. Oh. Very smooth. Get off the brakes. So the suspension does just seem to be tracking very well. And like when I let it off in the corners, it's nice. Oh wow, I think. And that side, and let go. Oh, game on. Pump. Pump. Finito! Silent as a mouse, but was it as quick as a cheetah? To the end to find out. The runs are done and the results are in, but before we get to them, you've got to wait a little bit longer. I want to talk a bit more about that whole chain growth kind of area. Now, we've obviously seen the latest crop of high pivot idler bikes come into play. And it's because of that high pivot that they need the idler pulley on them, because it essentially helps to reduce that chain growth. And the same can be said for when setting your chain length, when you're putting a new chain on your bike. Why it's so important? Because have you ever noticed, obviously, when you bounce on your bike, you sit on it, you see your rear mech go forwards like this. It's that chain growth in there. So if you were to have your chain too tight, if you cut it a bit too short and put it together, then that's going to impede the suspension even more. But enough of that, the results. So just so we clear things up before we get to the numbers, like I said, we did multiple runs in each variation today. First up, pumping. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, Rich, just that can't be fastest. It wasn't. It was 2 minutes, 16 seconds. Pedaling after that, same trail, remember, hitting the same lines, or as same as I could think. Pedaling 5 seconds quicker, 2:11. Was this the fastest though? And actually, why do I think pedaling was faster? Well, basically because there was a couple of sections at the bottom where just a few cranks to get up some of the, it wasn't uphill, but it was just, it flattened out. So just to keep the momentum along there, I did think pedaling was always going to be a little bit quicker, and it was 5 seconds. Chainless then. Chainless, chainless, chainless. Now this for me was the most interesting run. It was by far the quietest, obviously. I could actively feel the suspension was more active underneath me. It was free to do what it needs to do. And obviously that quietness allowed me to focus purely on the trail. But was it quicker? Yeah, it was. 2:09, another 2 seconds faster. I'm going to put that purely down to being able to carry speed through the really rough stuff. If you look at those rock gardens, they were really quite horrible, really. They were really chunky, they were pretty brutal, and being allowed to just plow through them and that suspension work even better, absorbing essentially the small bumps much nicer, I think just let me carry speed better. And then because of that, I could carry speed into the turns, I could let the brakes off, and those few little flatter sections, I think we were just carrying so much more speed. So 2 seconds faster. Wow, that's a lot to take in. Did you think that chainless was going to be quickest? I didn't, I'll be honest. Let me know in the comments down below. But from this beautiful bike park here, Luiseño, thank you very much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and a park I would recommend coming to see. For now though, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching everyone. I'll catch you later.